So anyway, child, what we gonna do about Tisha still trying to double down and have her mom's back? Which I get. That's your mom. You supposed to ride for her.
That's your mama and that's my mom.
But at the same time, I'm not understanding why she can't just let her mom know, like, look, mom, what you said was wrong about Melody. Even still, even if Ms. Wanda feels as though that she wasn't wrong, I still feel as though she should stay out of Tisha's business and stop trying to stir stuff and keep things going and kick up dust amongst her friends. I don't understand, like, how she's an elder and is doing all this. But nevertheless, since it seems like Tisha ain't going to talk to her mom and her mom ain't going to stop, at this point, do you guys think that it would be best if Melody just ignores the Scotts completely? The Scotts, the in-laws, all that jazz? Because I don't know, a part of me just feels like they're just talking to talk and they really don't mean it as far as like the extended family members go, like the Uncle Bernard and all that other stuff. Because you seen when Melody confronted him, he kind of was like, I don't want no smoke. But Miss Wanda and Tisha, it is some hatred, maybe a little jealousy going on as far as Melody is concerned. And now that I see that, and now that I get it, I feel like Melody don't even need to respond because we all see what it is at this point. So when should you ignore your haters? Because I get it. I see how when y'all said Melody tried to talk to Tisha about her mom, that Melody still gets ignored. No one considers what she's saying. And then when Melody actually approached Miss Wanda, she still gets ignored. People double down and be like, I wasn't talking about the Miss Wanda was just confronting Melody about what she saw on the internet, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine, sis. Y'all want to keep on kicking up dust? Forget it. So, what point should Melody just ignore the Scotts entirely? And I asked this because of this one comment I seen on this article with urbanbailmag.com that says, I like Melody a lot, and I wish she would stop caring or responding to anything Wanda has to say. Some people's opinion really shouldn't matter to you. That may sound mean, but it will help you get through life a lot easier once you accept it. And it made me think, should at this point Melody just ignore Miss Wanda because she's going to just keep flapping her gums and keep trying to make Melody seem bad? And it seems like that's the theme as far as the Scotts go as well. So I guess it's time to ignore it. And then someone else responded to that comment and said, exactly. Only a fool will talk to themselves. I said, oh, okay. Now, this comment right here that was responding to the initial comment about ignoring Miss Wanda, I said, oh, snap. Well, wait a minute. Let me put some pimping in it. They went in. So this person said, unfortunately, I didn't understand this until I hit my 30s. Some people are too ignorant and negative to have that much power over your thoughts, actions, and emotions. Their opinions simply hold no value. Let them think and say what they want. They don't have the authority to define you. We are the only ones who can define ourselves. I like that because at the end of the day, forget what Miss Wanda is saying. Melody knows her truth. Martell knows her truth. And that's all that really matters. So it does come a time where I feel like you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. And at this point, I feel like Melody should just go ahead and fold them. But what do you guys think? Because overall, I do kind of basically understand. That's why I started out the video saying Tisha's going to defend her mom no matter what, even in her wrongness. Okay, and I get that. I understand being on a united front when it comes to the public, in front of people. But maybe behind closed doors, I would maybe sit my mom down and say, okay, mom, I got it from here. I see that you speaking up for me, even though you love me, it's causing a lot of drama amongst my friends or my work friends or my associates, my colleagues, whatever it may be. But, I got it from here. So I feel like that's a conversation Tisha has not been willing to have, or at least we haven't seen on TV or even behind closed doors, because Miss Wanda is still doing what she's doing. So I do kind of understand how Tisha feels, because at the end of the day, you love your mom, but I feel like at the same time, you should be able to clearly communicate your boundaries and your standards when it comes to your parents. Now, by no means am I saying you should disrespect your parents, because at the same time, I didn't like what Funky Dineva said to Marsau and Tisha about, we need to get rid of that old antiquated honor thy mother and thy father. No, we don't. That is biblical, and I feel like that's a principle I'm always going to stand on. Our parents do kind of do too much at times, but at the same time, at the end of the day, I do believe that you have to honor your mother and your father, like regardless, you know what I mean? Because they brought you here. And I'm pretty sure, you as a parent want that same sort of respect from your children. So it goes hand in hand. So, I'll never say like, oh, disrespect your mom or, put her in her place. I really don't like that kind of talk either. I do feel like it's a certain way that you could talk to your parents where you're stern, clear, and firm that gets your point across without being disrespectful. But I also feel like maybe Tisha is afraid of her mom and afraid of her mom's response. That is why she doesn't want to say anything to disrupt or make her mom mad. Because sometimes people don't know how to deal with people not liking them. I was the same way. Or we don't know how to deal with people's like disappointment in us, or we don't like dealing with the negative backlash that we feel like we may face by enforcing our boundaries. We don't like people to be mad at us. We want to make everybody happy 100% of the time, or we are not all right. But I feel like now I embrace that. I welcome that. If you have a problem, so be it. Let's go. I mean, we don't gotta like fight or nothing, but it's just like I know how to be okay with people's disappointment of me. And when it comes to me, if it comes down to me enforcing a boundary, like, no, I can't talk at this time. No, I can't go out at this time. No, I can't do that. As long as I'm staying true to myself, oh, well, people just gonna have to be mad. People just gonna have to be disappointed. People just gonna have to not talk to me because I'm making me a priority first. So I feel like once Tisha gets to that point, everything will be all right in the world. But until then, we can't bake on that. So I feel like at this point, Mel is definitely going to have to just ignore Miss Wanda's behavior. Because I was reading online, it was this article titled 3 Times to Ignore People. And I really liked what this article mentioned. It said, never give attention to a behavior you want to diminish. So if Melody wants Miss Wanda to be quiet and keep her kids' name out or insinuating anything that happened between her and Martell, she really is going to have to ignore it, Like they said, only a fool argues with himself. As soon as Melody stops paying any attention to that situation, Miss Wanda is going to stop. I feel like she wants that reaction from Melody. You know what I mean? She probably really deep down inside loves Melody, probably admires Melody, probably would, she's probably Melody's biggest fan. When I really think about that, like they said, it's a thin line between love and hate, so I feel like in order to even hate somebody, it's probably like a little bit in there that you do like about them, or why would you care? They said the strongest emotion is not hate, it's actually indifference. When people can take you or leave you, that's even worse than hate, because like who you are doesn't even matter. What you saying doesn't matter. It really does not matter. So the fact that Miss Wanda actually cares this much about Melody, I feel like she really is team Melody on the low. You know what I mean? But she's covering it with hate. You can't force Inquita. No, you can't. Now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like that's what's going on. So, at this point, Melody, send her a care package, Yeah, it's easy to hate me, it's harder to love me. Or no, how did Meek Mill say? It's easy to hate me, it's harder to love me. Yeah. So it's okay, So that's how I would think about it. This article also mentioned that it's best to just ignore the person's behavior, not ignore them. So I feel like the article basically was saying, it is going to be times where you don't have to, if you don't need to interact with that person, then don't. But you don't want to be rude about it either. One of the things this article also mentioned by Rachel Boehm, I hope I'm saying that right. It said that you should create distance when you're around that person. So like I said, you don't have to show up to the events that you know that they're going to be at. If need be, go ahead and follow them off of social media, block their existence on your platforms and just go about your business. Another way it said is to avoid welcoming nonverbals. So, if you do by chance be in the same proximity of the person that you're trying to ignore and ignore their behaviors, don't make no direct eye contact with that person. No big smiles, no big how you doing, like none of that extra stuff. You don't have to do that. Don't move towards the person you want to avoid, and keep your face neutral and turn away from them slightly. See, body language. Be speaking louder than words, okay? So that's another thing Melody can do. And if she by chance, she absolutely has to engage with Miss Wanda at this point, where there's no way to avoid it, all she has to do is give minimal responses. Keep her words very short and sweet and brief. Say what needs to be said. Don't put no extra seasoning, salt, old base seasoning. No, we making this potato salad very dry. Just the bare minimum ingredients, and that's it. So that's all really Melody has to do. Again, I feel like the greatest thing that this article mentioned, for me, the greatest takeaway is never give attention to behavior you want to diminish. I actually feel that is a good way to go about life as well. If you want to ignore something, if you want something to not grow in your life, ignore it. If you don't want this relationship to strengthen, ignore it. Just let it go. Don't give it any attention. Stop talking about it. Stop feeding it life. Go about your business. Act like it ain't there. Don't put any extra mental space. Don't allow it to rent extra mental space in your head. It's not worth it. Melody has checks to cash and friends not to make, however she said it. But I feel like, she has other things to do that's way more productive. And so do we, I feel like we got it going on. And we have our dreams, goals, relationships that we do want to nurture, that do deserve our attention. And that's what we should be feeding and growing at this point. Other than that, let me know what you guys think. I feel like this may be the best course of action for Melody at this point. Just go ahead and ignore Miss Wanda. Like, we're not even really worried about what she got to say anyway. So we all know we know the truth that they provide us, but at the end of the day, it only matters what their family as a unit knows to be truth. Who cares what outsiders got to think? But yes, like I said, let me know what y'all think. And thank you again for listening, subscribing to my channel, and liking this video. Other than that, I'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye.
Met Saint Quebec, man, the girl was heaven sent. Met Saint Quebec, man, the girl was heaven sent.